Usually when I talk about my favorite show, Friendship is Magic, I talk about episodes that have massive flaws in some way or some sort of critical oversight. But this time I'm just going to talk about an episode I thought was pretty great. I like Top Bolt, and I'm going to tell you why. And of course it still has flaws, everything does. But I really wish more of the show were like this episode. We're going to start off with the small stuff I really liked, the positive version of nitpicks if you will, and then get more depthful from there on. The episode both starts and ends with Rainbow Dash just planning to do nice things with her friends, and it's minor, but I really like it because it tells us that Rainbow Dash is a person that enjoys company with her friends. You get to see her casually chatting with her coworkers. It's good slice of life stuff. She talks about reading books with Twilight. She talks about helping Applejack make cider. Things that, if you know anything about her, you know she would enjoy, but also if you don't know anything about her, you know she just has a life. It's good stuff. Helps make the world and characters feel more sincere and alive. Twilight Sparkle is overjoyed to be teaching in a classroom in this episode, which makes perfect sense with her character, and the things she's teaching seem genuinely practical and useful. They don't go in too much detail, but they do talk about things like angle and wing symmetry that give you some idea of what she's teaching, and how what she's teaching are important generalized basics for people who want to be in the Wonderbolts one day, which is a group of show ponies who perform stunts, specifically in the air, with wings. Previous episodes also get mentioned in context-appropriate situations that aren't just fan service, like Twilight mentions when she went through learning how to fly, and how that information is still fresh in her mind. Rainbow Dash also mentions how she nearly fell asleep when she was learning the basics for the Wonderbolts Academy, and while these additions are not necessarily important to the function of the scene, they both make sense in casual conversation between the two characters and give you an idea of who they are, as opposed to just making them plot elements to move things forward. Some parts of the episode definitely required the writers to think about what it would be like to be an actual flying horse and how that would work. When a character in-universe gives advice that would only apply to another fictional character with unique physiology, it really contextualizes the universe. The Wonderbolts, again a group of Pegasi show ponies who do air stunts, are a lot less awful in this episode than they are in most others. And by awful I mean usually they're awful people. They don't work great together, their rules are often confusing or outright contradictory, they treat each other like shit, they betray each other. And while none of that gets fixed in this episode, it is the case that they don't do any of that in this episode. So, by that merit alone, they're less awful in this episode, which is great because they have to be in it, because it takes place at the Wonderbolt Academy. And now that we have all the minor positive stuff out of the way, let's talk about why this episode's better in relation to other episodes in the show. Things this episode in particular does that other episodes could learn from. The episode is kicked into motion by the Cutie Map, which is a magical map which tells ponies when someone's having a friendship problem. Those are the show's words, not mine. And usually episodes involving the Cutie Map spend way too long talking about the Cutie Map, but in this one it does its thing and it leaves, thankfully, because the Cutie Map is a narrative shortcut and you shouldn't be talking about the Cutie Map. It's an excuse to send people on adventures. They could just offhandedly mention the Cutie Map's presence and the purpose of the adventure during the adventure instead of giving it a scene before the adventure. Even this episode's guilty of that latter thing, but at least it's less bad. The Cutie Map always sends two people to get differing perspectives on an issue, but it's easy to see why the two ponies were sent this time and what they're meant to be doing there. Rainbow Dash is actually a Wonderbolt, so it makes sense for her to be sent to the Wonderbolts Academy, where she's familiar with everything. Twilight is studious, intelligent, and practical, so it makes sense for her to be in a classroom or academy setting. She has a lot to bring to the table. And both of their perspectives clash in more natural ways this time than usual. And normally in Cutie Map episodes, the two ponies sent to help with the friendship problem do it in the worst way possible. They obnoxiously run around asking, "Hey, have you seen a friendship problem? Who here has a friendship problem? We're here to solve a friendship problem," which is awful. That's not how friendships work, that's not how problems work, and it's completely unnatural. Instead, what they do in Top Bolt is ask exactly one pony if they've seen a friendship problem, and it's the head of the Wonderbolts, Spitfire. Because Spitfire would know best whether the students hopeful to get into the Wonderbolt Academy are having friendship problems. And she doesn't know. but instead of going around obnoxiously asking the students one by one, they decide instead to teach during the classroom portion. Not just because Twilight's really excited to teach in a classroom, which she is, but it will also get them closer to the students so they can talk more naturally about these things. It's not perfectly sound, but it makes more sense than usual for these episodes. Another thing Cutie Map episodes and the show in general actually are guilty of frequently is focusing too much on fully developed characters, giving them new annoying character traits so that way they have undeserved conflicts. Normally in a Cutie Map episode, two ponies who you already know extremely well are sent on a journey, and they're given new character traits that they don't normally have just so that way the episode can have them fight or something. And other episodes of the show do this as well. There's an episode in Season 9 where Rarity and Rainbow Dash question why they're even friends. 9 fucking years into the show. It's too late for that. They're already completely developed people. And thankfully, Top Bolt doesn't do that. Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle do conflict, but it's with personality traits and ideas that are naturally occurring. They do say and do things, but they're things that accentuate already existing character traits. The episode isn't about Rainbow Dash and Twilight Sparkle. It's about two completely new characters who you've never met and know nothing about, and solving their problems. So I think it's probably finally time we talk about those two new characters who were the focus of the episode's conflict. It's Trials Week at the Wonderbolts Academy, the week where Wonderbolt Academy hopefuls show up to find out whether they even qualify to enter the Academy during a week of trials, hence the name. Everybody at Trials Week thinks they have a good shot, or they wouldn't be there, but one pony thinks they have the betterest shot. The bestest shot. Sky Stinger is smug and self-assured to a startling degree. He can't wait to show the world his amazing fucking flying skills and teach everyone what he's made of. At first it seems like he's all talk, but upon further examination he appears to actually be pretty good. He's so smug and sure of how good he is because he spent his whole life capable of feats of practically supernatural proportions, such as climbing 500 feet with his wings in 2 seconds. And ignoring the fact that that would evaporate you, it's pretty great. And then there's Vapor Trail, Sky's wing pony. Vapor Trail is incredibly timid and unassuming and seems to only exist to be there for Sky, to cheer Sky on and praise Sky. She's fearful and quiet around pretty much everyone, but whenever an opportunity to praise Sky arises, she perks up and just kind of blabs away. She has nothing positive to say about herself, though. And of course, their relationship has its tragedies. Oblivious to Sky, he's nowhere near as good as he thinks he is. Sure, he was actually the star of those supernatural feats of flight, but it wasn't his own doing. Throughout their relationship, Vapor Trail has literally been the wind beneath Sky's wings in every way possible, especially the bad ones. She'd been giving him boosts the whole time with her own wings to enable his supernatural feats, and he's completely unaware. She's also been constantly filling him with praise about how great he is whenever he accomplishes anything, things he's only accomplished because of her. And because Vapor Trail's been trying so fucking hard to make Sky look good, she's become an amazing flyer without even noticing, just out of necessity to make Sky look better. Sky's spent his whole life never having to try to be good enough, because he's never actually been good enough. And Vapor Trail's always been good enough, but she has nothing to be good enough for. She wants nothing for herself. It's a beautiful, simplistic tragedy born of misplaced devotion, trying to give someone what you think they want, even when it hurts them. The show does exposit a bit more on why Sky Stinger and Vapor Trail might be this way, with a flashback sequence showing their respective childhoods growing up, and how that might spiral into where they are. It's not mandatory, but it does draw attention to the fact that it started with relatively small little boosts, and graduated into something that just can't be resolved easily anymore. But it wouldn't be a real tragedy if Sky stayed unaware of Vapor Trail's helping forever. So let's look at how the episode actually deals with their relationship. After Rainbow Dash and Twilight start teaching in class, it seems like Vapor Trail is expressing fear about participating in solo trials for her own sake. and it seems like Sky is concerned that Vapor Trail will fail the solo trials. Rainbow Dash and Twilight see through this when they see Vapor Trail helping Sky. Vapor Trail really never had to worry about being caught before, but this is Trials Week at the fucking Wonderbolt Academy, where you apply to be a Wonderbolt, a famous group of show ponies. Rainbow Dash notices right away that Vapor Trail is helping Sky, and Vapor Trail's tactic of just hoping everybody focuses on Sky instead of her isn't working anymore. Rainbow Dash and Twilight disagree about what to do upon noticing this, hence the difference in perspective. Rainbow Dash thinks that they should keep it secret and try and fix it without telling them. Twilight thinks they should tell them immediately so the truth comes out. Ultimately, Twilight decides to at least tell Vapor Trail that they noticed, because Vapor Trail being confronted with her helping Sky won't fuck up Sky's confidence if Sky still doesn't know about it. A lot of emphasis is placed on maintaining Sky's confidence because, as Rainbow Dash puts it, flying is 30% skill, 70% confidence. And with sports, confidence does play a huge role. So they tell Vapor Trail that they noticed Vapor Trail is helping, but not Sky, because it would break his fucking heart. And I do really like how this is all handled. Vapor Trail's been living a lie for Sky's benefit for 15 years minimum? And when you've been keeping up a lie for that long, you kind of lose sight of where the lie started and lose sight of the idea that the lie can even be caught. Vapor Trail freaks out and has no idea what to do, but eventually they settle on kind of a haphazard idea. Twilight will help Sky with the basics while Vapor Trail learns tricks with Rainbow Dash, and presumably they'll swap out at some point. So that way it doesn't seem like Sky is just getting special attention for the basics. His confidence doesn't have to be wounded. Doing things this way is exactly what Rainbow Dash wants, so we get to see how her ideas work out, and if they fail for good reasons. Something good that does come out of the idea is that while Vapor Trail is doing tricks with Rainbow Dash, Vapor Trail manages to keep up with Rainbow Dash, which is astonishing. And she even realizes that maybe she wants to do this thing for herself and not just for Sky. She's getting to experience flying on her own, not permanently attached to someone else, getting her own chance to do something. And she likes it. It's a pretty positive step toward building a more healthy relationship with Sky and with herself. Unfortunately, while Twilight is trying to teach Sky the basics, he absolutely sucks ass. And he doesn't just suck ass because he genuinely is bad at flying, which he kind of is, but also because he's not even trying. And that's the problem with Rainbow Dash's idea of not telling Sky. Sky can't improve if he doesn't think he has to. Rainbow Dash and Vapor Trail's ideas are defeated in a logically consistent and undeniable manner, and now they have no idea what to do. Vapor Trail tries to keep up the lie a little longer by gently suggesting to Sky that he does need to practice anyway without explicitly telling him why, and of course this doesn't work. Sky spent his whole life thinking he's too good for this. When Vapor Trail finally sees it's literally impossible to convince him, she blurts out the truth. And the thing that triggers her blurting out the truth is one of the most emotionally valuable things in the episode to me. At first, Sky is just deflecting all of Vapor Trail's suggestions with his normal smugness and self-assured confidence, but the last thing he says before Vapor Trail blurts out the truth is that he believes he will be accepted as a Wonderbolt immediately out of Trials Week, and his dream will be instantly achieved. That's how good he thinks he is. That's how completely detached from reality he is. That's what Vapor Trail's lies and helping have done to him. And seeing that, she has to fucking shout out the truth. It's just gone too far. His dreams are going to be ruined. Of course, Sky won't have any of this, and he tries to do a loop and ascend quickly immediately after, which is quite taxing, and he fucking can't. He literally can't do this thing that he's known he's been capable of his whole life since he was a child. His world is fucking shattered. His entire identity, everything he thought he knew about himself, was destroyed in like 10 fucking seconds, so he angrily shouts at Vapor Trail and storms off. Of course, Sky's confidence, as predicted, is now crushed. He had his entire world torn out from under him. And they need to find a way to fix this. They need to find a way to convince both Vapor Trail and Sky that they're worth being Wonderbolts and to keep trying. And the solution they come up with makes sense in some places, but is also where the episode's flaws come into play. When Rainbow Dash confronts Vapor Trail, the writing is perfectly fine. Vapor Trail just needs told that she can be a Wonderbolt on her own terms, that her world doesn't have to revolve around Sky. The scene is short. Rainbow Dash basically just asks Vapor Trail, hey, do you really want to be a Wonderbolt? And Vapor Trail says, yes. When I was doing tricks with you, I saw for myself that that's something I wanted. And that's fine, because we did actually see that earlier. The scene being short is not a problem. And when Twilight confronts Sky, it's a completely different conversation. Sky needs to accept that he's bad at flying. Not just not good at it, but pretty bad at it. At first, Sky takes offense to hearing this and it wounds him even more, but then Twilight brings up that she used to be the literal worst at friendship. She used to be the ass at friendship, the most horrible ass. And the lesson she imparts is that you can start out being the worst ass at something and still be the goodest at it later. You just have to work hard. Sky's not a natural like he thought he was, but that doesn't mean he has to give up. People can change, skills can be learned, and Sky can still attain his dream. He just has to accept that now it's going to be hard, instead of being effortless. So now that they have their individual problems sorted out, it's time for the most important scene for their relationship. When Sky and Vapor Trail talk next, it's going to be with the weight of everything that's happened for their entire lives, that lie they lived, and who they are now, and how things have changed because of that. So it's just a smidge disappointing that when they do meet up after having their individual epiphanies, they make up without even a single word exchanged. The episode spent so long detailing their relationship, developing how it works, how the lie works, who would be hurt by the lie, why, what happened to Vapor Trail and Sky to make them this way, their own individual struggles, and when they meet up after the lie comes out, they just hug. And the idea, I think, is supposed to be that the clarity from their individual epiphanies allowed them to forgive each other and move forward together. But this problem is a little too big for that. Their relationship and what it was built on is a little too big to be resolved so quickly. The foundations of the relationship were shaken during this episode. Worlds were rocked. Things were said and done that cannot just be removed without them saying anything to each other about them. It's a little insulting that the resolution is a wordless hug. And then Sky actually learns to start trying, and he's kind of amazing at it. Amazing at it a little too quickly, I think. It's well established in the episode why Vapor Trail would be a great flyer and how hard she's had to try to get there, even if she didn't realize she was getting there. But Sky's pretty bad, and him being good enough to get admitted into the academy at the end feels a little hollow. But that is what happens. He gets admitted into the academy alongside Vapor Trail. A much more realistic ending would have been Sky being held back and Vapor Trail going on ahead and them having to reconcile with that. Like, Sky can still keep trying, it will just take him longer than Vapor Trail. Them both getting admitted feels a little too convenient and sappy, and not the good kind of sappy. But most of the flaws in this episode come down to it being a little too sappy and optimistic during the resolution parts, which a lot of fiction is guilty of. Some well-earned, genuinely good sappiness comes after the trials, though, when Sky and Vapor Trail are finally talking. They're now standing as equals and as changed ponies, exchanging banter. Sky is able to admit that Vapor Trail is a much better flyer, and Vapor Trail says that Sky can be her wing pony anytime. They're standing on equal ground now, both literally and in the relationship, no longer one above the other. Things are healthy. They're together, in a good way this time. Completely absent of any obsessive devotion or lies. And that was Top Bolt, one of my favorite episodes in the series. It has compelling lead characters with completely new conflicts. It has the original cast in supporting roles that genuinely make sense for them. And there's a lot to unpack and analyze about everyone's behaviors, which is something I'm always a big fan of. In conclusion, why don't they sell, like, official Hasbro-sanctioned Vapor Trail merchandise? I just want, like, a plush or something? Like, why don't they? It's just a trading card. Hello, everyone. I know you're probably not used to a post-outro, but I just wanted to voice some things. I wanted to say that, no matter whether you like these pony videos or not, I wanted to get across that this stuff takes a long time. I don't really expect anything out of it. And it's important to me. Like, these videos that I put on this channel about video games, about ponies, this stuff is my soul. It's who I am. And I'm still doing it, even while I'm leaking blood out of myself, and nobody's able to diagnose me with what's wrong. That still hasn't happened. This is who I am on this channel, and whether you like it or not, I wanted that to be conveyed. That this is me, this is what I love, this is what I'm passionate about. That's what matters most. And please, I know it's cheesy. Don't ever hesitate to be yourself. Don't fucking give a second thought to people who will judge you for being who you are. No, it's cliched. Life is too short for that. Your life's like 15 seconds long. I'll see you guys